Good morning and welcome to the Daily Tanya. Today is Friday, the 24th day of Menachem Av. And today we're going to conclude this beautiful letter 7 in Igeret HaKodesh. Let's begin with tzedakah. Gedola tzedakah, shmekareves esayula. Tzedakah brings Mashiach closer. So in today's lesson, the Alter Rebbe talks about the special shining mitzvah that each person has. What is your shining mitzvah? What do we mean? They began this letter with saying the prayer, Ashreinu matev chalkeinu, u'manoim goleinu. How fortunate we are, how good is our share, and how pleasant is our lot. That means that each person has a share, has a lot, how to connect to Hashem. Now, of course, we explained that all of the mitzvahs we need to perform, everyone connects to Hashem with each mitzvah. Each mitzvah connects to Him in a different way. But yet, there is something that each neshama, each person, has a special, unique connection that connects to his soul. And Alter Rebbe quotes the story in the Talmud where one sage asked a friend, "What was your father's special mitzvah? At which mitzvah was he extra careful?" And in the words that he used, what was he extra careful? Now the word zahir means careful. The word zahir also means shining. Amaskilim yazhiru, it says the intellectual will shine. The word zahir means shining. And Alter Rebbe explains that there is, although every mitzvah we have to perform, we have to do all commandments, but yet there are certain mitzvahs that each individual's neshama is specifically connected with, and that mitzvah brings him the shine, the light of Hashem more than other mitzvahs. The same thing is also, generally speaking, every generation has special mitzvahs that this generation is upon them to do this special mitzvahs. How do we know which mitzvah is our generation's mitzvah? For that, we are fortunate to have the leaders, the neshama klalos, the general neshama, the Rebbe, that shows us and guides us what is our mitzvah today. There's the story of was a chassid of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. His name was Rabbi Yitzchak Horowitz. They called him Rabbi Iche the Masnid. Iche, that was the studious, the one who he was in his entire life was into learning, studying Torah, praying. The materialism didn't speak to him at all. And yet at one time there was a Farbrengen by the previous Rebbe. And the Frierdiker Rebbe, he was very much gave his life to help to make sure that little children study Torah. That the Torah in the face of the persecutions of the communists and that they closed down the yeshivas and so on. And in Tefabrengen, the Frierdiker Rebbe turned to this chassid, this great chassid, and he told him, Icha, if you occupy yourself with Tinoika Shabesh Rabban, helping children to study Torah, then you are mine, connected with me. But if you don't, then you are Icha. Nothing is taken away from your greatness, but you're not mine. Very, very sharp words. Being connected to the tzaddik, connected to the Rebbe, is when you do the mitzvahs that the Rebbe knows and says that this is the mitzvah of today. And the same thing is, so this is in general when we're talking about what is the mitzvah of today. When talking about individual, this is when you find yourself in a certain place, the Rebbe once said, when God placed you in a certain position, whether you're a teacher to children, whether you're a businessman, whether you travel in Ecuador or any other places around the world, and you find yourself there, you got to look and see, this is the mitzvah. There's something there that you're supposed to do. And if you feel that it's difficult for you to do a certain mitzvah, says the Rebbe, that itself is a sign that this might be the mitzvah. This might be the mitzvah, and that is why the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, is trying to stop you from performing your mitzvah, which shines to you. So let's see inside what the Alter Rebbe says. Says the Alter Rebbe, V'hinei, af shegilui ze al yedei esek haTorah v'amitzvos, u'shova l'chol nefesh miYisrael b'derech klal. Though this manifestation of light through a person's involvement in Torah and commandments is generally equal to every individual Jew. Why? Because we all have one Torah and one law. We are all obligated in the same Torah. Nevertheless, as the Alter Rebbe, each neshama is connected in a unique way. Afal pikein b'derech prat, ein kol hanefashos hayeruchos ve'haneshamas shavos be'inyan zeh. Nevertheless, in a more specific way. In regard to this manifestation of light that radiates through the study of Torah and performance of the commandments, not every nefesh and ruach and neshama is equal. What is nefesh, ruach, and neshama? There are three levels of the souls. Nefesh is the lower level of the soul. Ruach is the spirit, the higher level of the soul. Nefesh is more connected with action. Ruach is more connected with emotions. And neshama, at the higher level of the soul, that is more connected with the intellect. So not each person and each neshama and each level is equal. For it depends on the period and time of their reincarnation and the coming into this world. Which means every time there is a neshama comes to the world is excuse me, to fulfill a mission. And when a neshama sometimes does not fulfill the mission, it needs to come and again be reincarnated. Most of our souls are souls that have been here before. Most souls of present generations are reincarnations of souls that had descended into this world in earlier times. They descended once again in order to rectify some aspects of the previous incarnation. The degree of radiance the soul receives from above through the performance of a particular mitzvah depends upon the era in which the soul finds itself in this world. So that mitzvah that you need to fix would be that mitzvah that shines to your world. That shines to you. Our sages of blessed memory quote the quotation, with what commandments was your father most careful? That Rabbi Yosef asked a colleague of his, Rabbi Yosef, the son of Rabbah. And he asked him, what was your father extra careful? To which mitzvah was Rabbah extra careful? To which the answer was, with the commandment of tzitzis. So as we said, being extra careful, the word zoyer also comes from the word shining and illuminating. Which mitzvah illuminates to you most? So we see that every person has a mitzvah, a specific mitzvah that he's extra careful. That mitzvah shines to that person. Likewise, not all generations are the same. Not only do souls differ, generations differ as well. There have been generations whose primary spiritual challenge was the study of Torah. In other generations, it was charity and so on. The reason for this is that the souls of those generations were especially illuminated by the performance of those specific commandments. So that is why we need to see what the Rebbe says. What is our generation's mission? That Rebbe continues and says, for just as with the organs of man, each organ has its particular and distinctive function. The eye to see and the ear to hear. So the same thing is with every mitzvah. Every mitzvah draws a certain special light from Hashem. So too, through each commandment, the commandments being known as the organs of the king, there radiates a particular and distinctive light from the infinite Ein Sof light. And again, the Alter Rebbe says, although every person has to perform all the mitzvahs, and if he didn't perform the mitzvahs, he has to come again. Of course, there's certain mitzvahs that not every person can perform, like the mitzvahs that belong to a king. The king does it on behalf of the people. But nevertheless, we see there is the concept of the reincarnation. And although every Jewish soul needs to be reincarnated in order to fulfill all 613 commandments, how then can we say that a soul that descends to this world in a given period will receive its godly illumination as an individualized bequest, thereby necessitating particular scrupulousness in specific commands? So we have to do all the mitzvahs. So that's why the Alter Rebbe says again that the stress is not how to be careful in the mitzvahs, but how to be extra careful. In what mitzvah to be extra careful? This heightened attention focused on a particular commandment is this necessary only for the sake of an additional measure of vigilance and zeal. A zeal doubly and exceedingly elevated and powerful, being extra careful, far surpassing one's zeal in the fulfillment of the other commandments. And this, the Alter Rebbe says, is the exact words that Rabbi Yosef said to his colleague. What mitzvah was your father extra careful? Hence the word most used in the above quoted individual when he asked, with what commandment was your father most careful? Continues the Alter Rebbe and says, so until now he explained this is why each mitzvah is a share we have our share in God. Now the Alter Rebbe is going to explain what we say, manoim geireleinu, how pleasant our lot. Why does he call it a lot? And the Alter Rebbe is going to explain what is a lot, a lottery. A lottery is something which is done, that's not a logical conclusion that you have to receive this. It is something that you cast a lot and you pick like a lottery. And the choice is not a logical choice, it comes above logic. It comes from the very essence of Hashem, which is above logic. That is why when a person does that mitzvah, that his neshama is connected, it brings a connection to God, which surpasses any other connection that you create through logical emotions and connecting to Hashem in a logical way, emotional way. When you do that mitzvah, you're connected. This is your lot. It is a connection that you have, far surpassing the logical connection with Hashem. This is what the Rebbe continues. It says, "Ve'ine Yisro no oir hazeh aprotel l'neshamis protiyos, einoi b'bchinas tam v'das musik." Now, the superiority of this individual light that is bestowed upon individual souls through the performance of a particular commandment, this is not in the category of apprehensible reason. It's not because of a logical thing. But it transcends it. For thus it arose in God's thought, so to speak, that certain souls be granted additional illumination through the performance of a particular commandment. And its model below is truly the concept of a lot. That's why he calls it Manoim Goyr Aleinu. So the fact that one person wins a lot, while others do not, is likewise not in the category of apprehensible reason. Rather, so has it been deemed from above. As the verse indicates, the lot is cast into the lap, and from God is its disposition. This then is the meaning of how pleasant is our lot. The disposition of a particular degree of godly illumination to a specific soul through the performance of a select command is wholly dependent upon a consideration that transcends logic. It is a lot determined from above. And this is the end of this beautiful letter. And of course, the message asking which mitzvah, what mitzvah is your shining mitzvah? So number one, be careful in all the mitzvahs that is possible. This is our commandments. Of course, if you're not used to it, if you're a beginner, take step by step and grabbing everything at once. Have someone to guide you, a mentor to guide you in what way to do it. But then we know what is the mitzvah of our generation, that we follow the instructions of the Rebbe. As the Rebbe says that our generation in general is to spread the teachings of Hasidus, which brings Mashiach, which is this very lesson. Learning Tanya is part of it. Learning more Hasidus, teaching to other people. And especially what the Rebbe said, that in today's day, our mission is to receive Mashiach, to be ready to and prepare ourselves and everybody else to greet Mashiach by doing all of this. And then there is a particular mitzvah that each individual person knows what is your mitzvah. When you see God placed you by divine providence in a certain location, in a certain position, put your best effort in this place that God placed you to do it to the best of your ability, because that is your lot. And again, especially when we see something is difficult for us to do, that may be the indication that this is the exact mitzvah that brings you the light. That's why the Yetzer Hara tries to stop you. So doing so, we'll be able to bring the light upon us and upon the entire world very soon with the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu. Very soon, amen. A wonderful Erev Shabbos. This Shabbos is blessing the new month of Elul, which is an amazing, amazing, powerful Shabbos. So come to Shul and to Farbringen. And we'll see you on Sunday, B'ezrat Hashem. All the best.